Hey, what's up, guys? One of the things that I get asked a lot when I do my solo stream is people ask me about the records that I have and the music that I listen to. Conversation just kind of tends to go in that direction. And I've never really shown my record collection, and it's kind of hard to do that. It's in a shelf in the other room. So I'm going to categorize some of the stuff. The first one's going to be songs that I listen to and I feel like bummed out. They're not necessarily records that pump me up, but they're songs that I tend to go to. They have a special place in my heart, a little story behind each one of them, a special one for me, and that makes me want to listen to these records when I feel kind of sad. So yeah. Alright, for the first record we have Repaved by Volcano Choir. This one is a side project by Justin Vernon of Bon Iver. I really like Bon Iver, I have a ton of their records, but this one has a kind of a special place for me. It's very atmospheric. If you like Bon Iver, I think you'll definitely dig this side project. This album came out in 2013, but the winter of 2013 wasn't a really good time for me. There was just this moment where I was feeling super bummed out, and I kind of put this record on the back burner. My friend told me about it, and it was in my playlist, but I just kind of wasn't really listening to it. Looking out the window, I was in a car, and the first track off this record played, and you know that moment where it just kind of like everything just kind of goes in place, like in that moment, like the scene, the music, just everything. I don't know how to explain it, but that happened to me, and after that I was just like taken away. Yeah, this one has a very special place in my heart. Repave. The next one is Tapestry by Carole King. I think a lot of people know who Carole King is. So this record I found this in like a really weird way. My dad plays guitar, and we talk a lot about music, and he's really into 70s stuff, you know, like the James Taylor, the Jim Croce stuff, and Carole King was definitely one of the artists that we kind of bonded over. And I still remember, I was like walking around, I used to just walk around random stations, and I think it was like Musashi Kosugi or somewhere around there. There's this tiny CD store, and it was dedicated to Carole King and her husband James Taylor, and it's just their records just everywhere. And I was just talking about these guys with my dad, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go in and check it out. And of course they had vinyl. I bought this there in that tiny place, and dude, this record is like crazy. It's got like all like the hits of Carole King pretty much. So Far Away's been like, you know, covered by like so many people, but this is my entry to Carole King, and I always listen to it because I always think about my dad. The first record my dad ever bought me, like a little CD, was a Jackson 5 best of. So Jackson 5 and Carole King are like the two kind of artists that I always think of when I think about my dad. And I don't know, it just kind of makes me it makes me think about family. It makes me feel like at home when I put this record on, and especially because it's a record, it just like a vinyl. It feels really warm when I play this, and when I just kind of miss my parents, or like, you know, when I just don't want to just kind of feel like sentimental about something, or like family based, want to feel a little bit warm, I'll put this record on. Definitely very special for me. The record that I really listen to when I feel bummed out is Parrot Flies by Algernon Cadwallader, and this record itself, this vinyl, has a very special kind of story for me. This is the second vinyl I ever bought, and I found this record at this emo record store. They're kind of an emo rock band, but very noodly, very happy though. Happy emo, if that makes sense. Midwestern emo. And I found this, I knew about this album. The band broke up. I'm pretty sure this is their last album that they released, and that's why this was the only one that they had. And the first record that I bought was a Daft Punk one. And for the second one, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna spend the day, go out to like Shimokitazawa. I bought this in Shindaita, and you know, just Shibuya, all these places. I'm gonna check places out. And I went to the record store in Shindaita, and this was just like, I knew about this, and I was like, holy shit, they have this here? Like, this seemed like, you know, it's one of those albums that I would have to order online, and I just found this there, and I was like, yeah, I'll buy this. And then I was talking to the guy that was like, I didn't know, like, you know, out there have Algernon records, and I go to that record store a lot now because they have a lot of these kind of like emo records that you might not be able to find in other places. And I remember I just came home, put this on. This album's really happy in general, but every single time I listen to this, it reminds me of that time when I just walked into the store and I just found this record, just this bird just like staring at me, like, I was like, there's no way. And then I bought it, and so it brings back really special memories for me. And that's why this one, it always kind of like unlocks that memory for me of kind of how I started to get records, get addicted to go and buy records, trying to find all these record stores in Tokyo. This one really started it all for me, man, this one. Alright, so the next one's kind of similar to the Algernon in the sense of like energy. It's Letterman, We Are Still Alive. This record, ball of energy, 100%, like super, like it's kind of got that like punk rock vibe with emo elements, super drivey, super fun. Lyrics are hella positive. Just puts you in a good mood. The reason why this band was like special to me was like, so I used to watch, because I couldn't go to these tours and stuff of bands overseas, and I would watch them on YouTube, and somebody was wearing a Letterman shirt, and I was like, and they also talked about it in one of those like art interviews, and they were talking about how Letterman was just a really special band to them, and I was like, I really like that band that was being interviewed, so I looked them up, and holy crap, man, this record is the one that I listen to when I'm walking down Shibuya and I don't want anybody to talk to me, or like I'm just like, I just want to get into my own world, and I just blast this record. It's just such a fun record that it's such a fun album that all of their albums are very fun, but this one especially, like, it just kind of, I don't know, I listen to it over and over and over again without even like knowing. It's just like cycling through. There's a lot of loud songs, there's a lot of heavy songs out there, and this one's not a heavy record anyways, no like breakdowns or anything, but it just like lightning when I first heard them. And look at the vinyl itself is kind of got this like purple tie-dye thing going. It's fucking rad just in general. Okay, another one that is very special to me and also kind of puts me in a good mood is Benjamin Gibbard's Former Lives. Benjamin Gibbard is the singer of and songwriter of Death Cab for Cutie. If you know anything about me, I love Death Cab, and this solo project is, I think I first heard it. I didn't get it at release or anything like that. I was a bad fan, and I didn't know about this until he did like a NPR session. There was a Ben Gibbard NPR Tiny Desk session, and I heard he did a couple songs off this album, bought it immediately. It was a time that I think I was out of college, or it was like the tail end of college when I found this record, and it was a really sad moment because everybody was going away, everyone's doing their own thing. I had some personal problems and issues here and there, but it reminds me of a moment when, I mean, shit's bad, but when I hear songs from this album, it reminds me that there's, music or something in that moment that can lift you up just for that moment. And the thing about it is, this one's a pretty cool. This is a really good album, but I end up listening to the NPR session more. So I didn't know if I should put it up on the list, but still, when I just want to feel a little glimmer of hope and whatnot, and it has like nothing to do with the lyrics. Like Teardrop Windows is a song about this big building that I think Ben Gibbard was seeing, and it was getting torn down, and he was like, the song is like in the feeling of that building or whatever, and it has nothing to do with what where I was at the point when I was listening to the song. It was just when I started listening to this album, I was in a place where I needed Teardrop Windows, and it was there. And a lot of Death Cab songs are like that for me. I don't have all the Death Cab vinyls. I want to get them all, but this one just kind of like came to me at the perfect time, and I was just like, I listened to this album a lot, to the point that I made it my alarm. Worst mistake ever, but still, this one still puts a really, really big smile on. So yeah, those were kind of the songs that, or albums that put a smile on my face when I'm feeling a little bummed out. Hopefully I'll keep doing more of these if people like them, or if I just feel like I want to share some records with you guys, I'll put them up on the channel. So thanks for watching, guys.